along with Tommy Newsom and the NBC Orchestra inviting you to join Johnny and his guests, John Ritter, Jimmy Alec, and Robin Douglas. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Thank you. Okay, you can stay the night. I have an extra toothbrush. Boy, do I have an extra toothbrush. Let's not stretch the applause out. I only have an hour on the meter, and then I have to run out here. You know, the applause sign was the only thing that didn't go out during the blackout? Right. We have a backup generator for this. We take no chances. How are you tonight?
Good.
Good mood? Where's Doc tonight, Tom?
He's elsewhere.
Well, he should be there, I'll tell you that. I like Tommy, one of the fine musicians, arrangers, but he had a tragic childhood. The nurse asked his father, when he was born, he wanted to see the baby. His father said, "Go ahead, make my day." Anyway, I'm Johnny Carson, the Gary Hart of comedy. It means I peak early. So. I have a lot to talk about today. I was driving to work today. I saw a sign that said over 4 billion sold. It was over Michael Jackson's house. How many from out of town tonight? Most of you? Southern California is like any other place in the United States, true? No, it is. Look, it's a little laid back out here. Where else would you see a sign in a funeral parlor that says, "No bare feet allowed"? Anyway, I have to rush right home after the show tonight. I don't want to miss Alistair Cook tonight on PBS. He's hosting Masterpiece Theater Bloopers. Everybody's getting in on the act. Anyway, from time to time, I like to plug our host city of Burbank. We say that we're from Hollywood. Actually, we're from Burbank. And it's a nice community. Lots of exciting things to do out here. You must be one of the persons who lives here. No. We have celebrities here. Our most famous celebrity in Burbank is Dr. Leopold Fechner, the famed inventor. His latest invention he filed with the patent office this week. Spam on a rope, in case you get hungry while you're taking a shower. Fechner also invented the Beverly Hills chastity belt. It has a sticker on it that says "Armed Response." I don't know why I put that one in there. I guess just for me. It's Friday. Friday nights, I always, this time of year, I get a little wistful. You've seen me wistful before.
I have, yes.
I'm wistful right now. And I...
Are you hearkening back?
I'm hearkening back to my youth on the plains of Nebraska. There's days like this in which I picture my very first girlfriend in high school, Yassi Arafat. Yeah. I didn't get the good-looking girls. Yassi was homely. I'd take her out to dinner. She'd beg at the next table. I mean, I'm telling you. Well, politically, Reuben Askew, as you probably know, dropped out of the presidential race yesterday. And today he met with his transition team, who will help ease him from obscurity into oblivion. Reuben, I admire a guy. He put up a valiant fight, but he's just a loser. I mean, the other night in bed, Mrs. Askew said she was undecided. Wait a minute. Where you been working, Shaughnessy? This is a highly... Where does this say drummer does, Aid the prince, okay. He never throws anything away, does he? Anyway, all the candidates are getting ready for the big, what they call Super Tuesday.
Right.
On March 13th. The winner of that goes on to the finals on Star Search. You know, politics, we live in a strange country, a funny time, you know that? They call Gary Hart, who's 48 years old, young. They call Pete Rose, who's 43, old. That was a philosophical joke. Deep, on the way home, you'll say, wow, that's a deep. There's a big flap in the State Department today and the Olympic headquarters here in Los Angeles. You know why? Apparently Russia wanted to send an advance man over here. His name is Oleg Yermishkin. Yeah, they wanted to send him over to kind of coordinate the activities with Russia and the Olympic Committee in Los Angeles. The State Department will not issue a visa, but they won't tell him why. Now, it didn't help when he called here in Los Angeles and wanted to know a nearby place to develop microfilm. That's known as a story joke. Kind of a lot of documentary stuff up front and no big punchline. Kind of breaks the rhythm between the big jokes and gives you a chance to relax. Which you are obviously relishing right now. Relaxing. Here's some, how about some airline news?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Remember when Braniff Airlines, I guess about a year ago, went bankrupt? Mm-hmm. They're back in business. I don't know, how do they do that? They went bankrupt?
They regrouped.
Thank you. They regrouped, and they're back in business, but they've cut out all the frills. I don't know if I want to get on a plane that has a sign that says, "Caution, student pilot." For example, here's the way it works. There are really no frills. Stewardess makes an announcement. She says, in case of an emergency, the fat lady and tourist can be used as a flotation device. You flown, Braniff? I was on there once, and I said to the pilot, it says, the engine's on fire. He says, what are you worried about? It's in the smoking section. Anyway, you're in a good mood. We've got a good show for you tonight. We have one of the brightest, best young comedy actors in the business, Mr. John Ritter, who's here tonight. We have a young comedian who's been with us, Jimmy Alec, is here, and a very good young and a stunning young actress by the name of Robin Douglas, who is with us also. And we are going to take our own presidential poll here tonight. You people will actually participate. We think we have a poll that is more accurate than New Hampshire.
That's right.
More scientific. Right. And you are asked to participate. So stay where you are. We'll be right back. Okay, thank you. Hello, Alistair Cook here. I'm in a devilish mood tonight.
You really are.
I don't know why. I really don't.
It's the end of the week.
My sign, I don't follow astrology or something, but people who do say that the planets are in conjunction with your house, and I'm in somebody's house.
And your moon is rising or something?
When the moon, what's that from? It's from,
Hair.
From Hair. Yeah. Is in the seventh house. Anyway, I was talking during the monologue, as some of you may remember. Those of you are still... By the way, if you just tuned in, we have John Ritter with us tonight. We have Jimmy Alec, Robin Douglas. I mentioned the presidential nomination, which is coming up, as you know. And this week, Alan Cranston, Ernest Hollings, and Ruben Askew dropped out. And on Tuesday, I guess in New Hampshire, contrary to all the predictions and all the polls, they have the Harris poll, and I guess Roper still has a poll. They thought Walter Mondale was going to walk away with it. In fact, Mondale left New Hampshire and went on to get ready for Maine, and all of a sudden, Gary Hart was a big winner there. Gary Hart is now saying it's a two-man race between him and Mondale. Senator John Glenn feels it is a three-way race, and George McGovern and Jesse Jackson still claim that they got an outside chance. Now, there are a lot of pollsters. I think tonight we're going to have a poll here. We have 500 people in the studio. They're from all parts of the nation, ranging in age, I guess, from 18 up to whatever. Who's the oldest person here tonight, outside of our producer? We have anybody 75?
24.
No,
You're right, they're not listening.
No.
They're not listening to you.
I'm trying to figure out how old the oldest person was. I think we can jump past 25.
41 we have. Any more than
come on
41?
76.
76.
Trombones. Well, that's fine. We're delighted you're here. Now, here's
Is this
what
the
we're going to
Carson
do.
poll?
We're going to call it the Carson Caucus. It's really not a poll. We want you to understand, even though the camera will be on the audience, this does not commit you, so don't feel embarrassed about voting for your candidate. Now, here's what I would like us to do. We'll start off with Walter Mondale, and I'm going to ask the people who would vote for Walter Mondale if the election were, say, held tomorrow, to please stand and listen to me, and rub your stomachs. Now, just listen to me. Those in favor of Mondale, please stand.
And rub your stomach.
Don't feel awkward. Just stand up. It's not... If the election were held... All right, here we go.
Oh, here's a couple. Here's
Now,
more.
please stand up, and then I'll give you the cue. Any more?
That's all?
All right. Now,
A
all of
couple more in
you...
the back.
Now, if you would vote for Walter Mondale, just rub your stomach. Okay, fine. You may now sit down. Thank you. Now, this is based on pure scientific evidence.
Yes.
Those of you who would vote for Senator Gary Hart, please stand. All right. Good. Okay.
Look at that.
Us.
Oh.
All right. And what you will do is tap the top of your head like this. All of you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Would you be seated, please? Now, those of you who would vote for John Glenn, I want you to stand and go do. All right? John Glenn.
All right.
Thumbs under the armpits. Do. Okay, thank you. You may now be seated. If you would vote for Jesse Jackson, I want you to stand. Take your little fingers, put it in your mouth, and go la 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 la. Jesse Jackson. Just the one.
One or two.
All right, okay, that's all right. If George McGovern is your man, please stand with your thumbs in your ears and do this. For George McGovern.
There's 2, 3, 4, 5.
And George is in the audience himself tonight doing that. All right. And if those of you would like to see President Reagan reelected, what you will do is stand and keep reporting like this. Well. So you have to just, well, okay? Well. You may be seated. All right. Now, let me review this again, because we're going to take what we call a master shot. I will tell you when to stand, and I will repeat what you were supposed to do at the same time. Those from Mondale, as you remember, rub your tummies. Gary Hart is tapping in your head. John Glenn is do. Jesse Jackson is la 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 la. George McGovern is like this, and President Reagan is, well. Now, when I say, let's hear it from all the voters, stand up and do what you did before. Ready? Let's hear from all the voters. All right, first of all...
That was great.
Now, first of all, let me say something. You're a lovely bunch of people. But do you realize how dumb you all look? And I look pretty dumb myself sitting here doing it. Now, let's go one step beyond this, because there are a lot of people who are still undecided. If you feel the person sitting right behind you would make a better president than either of the people I mentioned, turn around and shake his hand. Well, that is the result of the Carson caucus, and
Very scientific.
I would suggest if any of the candidates are watching tonight and have seen their constituents, it's not too late to bow out
Get out of the race.
and become a distributor of Mary Kay Cosmetics. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't believe. Anyway. Can you imagine this as your campaign? Okay, we'll be back in a moment. Now you can enjoy a choice of delicious tasting low-calorie meals in your own home with Weight Watchers frozen foods. We are moving along. Just John Ritter. We are, I think, in the last week of what the networks call their ratings week,
Right.
when they take ratings of all the shows. And you probably noticed during the past 5 weeks, a lot of shows, even local shows, add spicy elements to try to get viewers to tune in. The news will go to Hollywood Boulevard and do an expose of prostitution. They'll have girls on the beach or whatever like that. We feel here at the Tonight Show, rest assured, we would not stoop to things like that to gain a few rating points. We run a family show. We feel that that's the way it should be. And that's the last week of ratings, and those other shows want to do this fine with me. Anyway, tonight, John, what is wrong with this?
I noticed you were fixing that during the commercial. What's the matter?
The desk is either off-center or something?
Something.
Do we have the... Is the carpenter here?
Carpenter?
Yeah, the thing is...
It's off-center or something.
Carpenter out there? Carpenter, come in. I've got a little problem here.
What seems to be the problem, Mr. Carson?
The desk is not out of whack here or something like
Oh,
that.
it is. I happen to have a piece of wood.
Oh, that's a little shimwood, isn't it?
Shimwood.
Yeah, could you just put that under there and kind of... Right,
Well, this way.
I'll help you with it. Fine. You just drive in there.
There, how's that?
What a talent.
Anything else?
Yeah, I noticed when the door opened, this up here was...
Well, I can fix that.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think I need a little boost,
Yeah,
though.
maybe I could just help you up there a little bit. Okay?
There, how's that?
That's fine.
Anything else?
No, thank you, Frank. Okay, now let's go along with our show.
Boy,
Carpenters,
rock
that
solid.
union is now it's really working. Later on at the end of the show, the NBC cleaning lady will come out and show you how she mops without using her hands. I don't know what that means. Oh, yourself. If you have a joke, tell your neighbor. You know, it's hard to realize. It is, really, that my first guest completed the... Oh, you see, you're doing that. You're doing the overestimation.
8.
You're absolutely right. Seems hard to realize that it's only 8 years. For Three's Company, which you received a Golden Globe for, and well-deserved. I'm a fan of his. He's a funny young man. Would you welcome John Ritter to 10 years?
Your carpenter is hard at work backstage fixing many broken things that the crew has found to bring her.
She can do shoes also in case you just...
I've given her my loafer.
How are you? It's good to see you again. It's been a long time. Ed was pulling that old overestimation trick about how long you've been on, but for 8 years.
Seemed like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still enjoy it? I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
Well, you know,
you're
it's-
so good on it.
Oh,
You're dynamite on that show.
Thank you so much. It's interesting because it's like doing a one-act play every week. So
It
we
is
have to
really.
answer to the audience. You know, we have to learn our lines, and it's always been an ensemble effort. So
Right.
we all like get together, and it's the idea of putting a play on as
Yeah.
fast as we can, and then getting out alive.
Yeah, it's remarkable you can do it because you do it in front of a live audience, even though you may stop for a moment to go to the next scene. But you play it in front of what is there.
Yeah,
and-
about 300 people twice. We've done, counting the 5:30 dress rehearsal and the 8 o'clock show, we've done about 350 of them.
Good Lord.
Yes, and so thank you.
That's incredible. Somebody told me, I came by the building I occasionally pass, and I always hear that famous people went to Hollywood High School. You are a graduate of Hollywood High.
Yes, sir. I was. I'm proud to say I was student body president.
That's
there.
what I heard.
Yes, and I was very interested in not in so much grades or sports, but I was interested in power at a very early age.
Good.
I wanted to
that's
be
good and honest.
Yeah, I wanted to be. My brother went to Hollywood High. He went to a handicap school for the first part of his life, but in the 10th grade, he decided to try mainstreaming, you know, which a disabled person gets involved in,
Right.
in able-bodied activities. And so he was in the 10th grade, and I was in junior high, and he brought home the annual. And I looked at the picture. The student body president got a big picture in the Hollywood High School annual, and I went, someday, someday. And I really, you know, I was president of the high school, and then I got to SC, and I had to start all over again.
Did that ever intrigue you, the idea of going into politics?
It really did.
Yeah.
But when Bobby Kennedy died, I
Took it out of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
really
strange.
did.
It happened to a lot of young people at that time. I guess they were disillusioned and heartbroken.
Heartbroken, mainly,
And
yeah.
they just stopped it.
And that summer, I actually went overseas to Edinburgh to join the Edinburgh Festival with the USC troupe, and I got interested in acting. And I figured, well, at least in acting, you can lie and get away with it. In politics, when I lied, I always had to pay later. I just dealt with medicine too much, and by the time I was in college, I had forgotten what to divide meant. I couldn't do anything with numbers. So I bailed out of that, and I tried to major in social studies or social sciences, but I had lost all the will to do anything except to cut up, so I became an actor. I couldn't do anything else very well.
Luckily for all of us, you made the right choice.
Well, thank you.
We got to cut away. Fred, is that what the signal was?
That's what it was, Johnny.
Fred comes up with new little things that I've never seen before after all these years.
I'd love to see some of them.
Yes.
Johnny, why don't you do a commercial now?
Good, Fred. Master of innuendo. We'll be right back after this. Oh, no, I meant that.
Monday, the stars come out to salute this summer's Olympics with Tom Selleck, Brooke Shields, Robin Williams, Diane Cannon, and more in a 3-hour extravaganza. Monday.
Whatever you do, don't miss this video from everybody's favorite weirdo on Friday Night Videos, and
don't miss Saturday Night Live with Betty Thomas and the Stray Cats.
I've got a headache this big, and it's got Excedrin written all over it.
I got a headache this big, and it's got Excedrin written all over it.
Excedrin, the big headache medicine. More medicine than any regular strength pain reliever. The most medicine you can buy without a prescription. Nothing is stronger.
Oh, I had a headache this big, but I took Excedrin, and it's gone.
Excedrin, from Bristol Myers, the headache medicine.
Eternity. Tom Peterson's may not last forever, but we've been at Southeast 82nd Foster Road for 20 years, and we expect to be there the next 20 years. And as long as we're around, we'll guarantee this: the lowest prices, the best service, the best selection, and our undying effort to serve you better. Here's just one example. This Fisher video recorder, VHS, 8 hours, only $4.99. That's Tom Peterson's.
See America in a Bruce Chevrolet, one of the largest Chevrolet dealerships in the Northwest.
Folks, have I got a deal for you today. This new Chevy El Camino loaded with extras, only $78.88. And there's lots of seating in this 84 Chevy Sport van with dual air conditioning for only $12,878. Or check out a variety of Chevy Contempo vans, the king of conversions. We have over 9 to choose from.
Come out to Bruce Chevrolet, Hillsboro, with over 250 cars and trucks to choose from.
Bill Lagatuda and Kathy Smith on News 8.
Yeah, I like that. We're talking with John Ritter. Let me ask you something, and I don't mean to embarrass you by saying this, but when I watch you on the show, you are so skilled at doing physical comedy, reactions, and so forth. I don't think people learn that. I think you feel it intuitively, but obviously there were people that you watched, that you liked when you were young, that you got that feeling from, that the mad antics, because you play reactive type of comedy.
Well, it's also got me out of a lot of fights in elementary school, you know, keeping moving and trying to make the big guys laugh so they don't pound you.
Yeah.
But people like Dick Van Dyke, I've stolen, I've watched. And,
look, we've all stolen from everybody.
Jonathan Winters, you know, and Bill Cosby, and I must say you. And, the people that make me really laugh from here are the guys that I really like to follow, as opposed to, that's very clever.
I did the same thing, too. I watched the Marx Brothers and Jack Benny and that, and you pick up little...
Buster Keaton, too, if you want to talk
from
about
all of them. When did you first find out you were funny, that you could make people laugh?
Well,
as a kid?
I was nominated, this is the power political thing again, in junior high school for service club president by a friend of mine as a goof. You know, he said, Ritter, how about Ritter? You know, and I'm like this, and I'm looking around, and I was so nervous, but I remembered, and it was ironic that years later I worked with him, but I did a Don Knotts. Remember the nervous guy?
Oh, yes, of course.
And I came up, and I went, well, I'll be a good president, and I just started, and then somebody said, are you nervous? I went, no! You know?
So you found out when
they
laughed?
liked me because I was funny, and they voted for me, and I ruined the office for everybody afterwards.
But then you're hooked.
Yeah.
You did also television commercials at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but this is a good source of income. I mean...
Yeah, well, my wife has done over 150 of them, and I tried in every... You know, every commercial I did 4 of them. I actually did one with my dad in Nashville, which was fine, a cowboy one, and...
If people don't remember, and I'm sure most people do, your father, of course, was a famous cowboy star, Tex Ritter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite a gentleman.
Thank you. And I thank you. I got this one commercial for Michigan Bell Telephone. People with telephones.
See how popular you must have been?
Yeah.
I still remember the commercial.
You remember it? Well, anyway, you might not recognize me because I was supposed to be a guy at 22, and there were many actors playing this one man, and everybody but me had brown eyes. So I had a day to get used to brown contact lenses.
Oh, I see. It was a guy getting older?
Right, and I never had worn contact lenses before, and the guy who put them in had consumed massive amounts of illegal substances. And he came I'm like, yeah. And the director would go, John, you want to tone it down, you're mugging. I said, I'm in pain.
That's not the man you want to insert contact lenses.
It was tough. And then for a beer commercial for Canada, we all got drunk. You know, at the end, we're not supposed to drink, but while they weren't looking, a little nip here. And then at the end of the thing, we're like, take what? What was it?
I've never been able to say that. That's one of those standards and practices things they have on television. You may watch. You can have a dramatic show where people get blotto. They can sit and they go to a bar and they can drink beer there. Or they can have a highball or whatever in a dramatic show. Never during a commercial.
Never.
You ever notice these guys in the outdoors? Hiya, Bill. Let's uncork that one. You just get to here, and they cut to a moose. Or something. And you come back, and the beer is empty, and you wonder, gee, you wonder what they did with that beer. Like, isn't that strange? Sense of morality they have? You can't show them drinking.
It's very odd. But anyway, we did that, and then I did one other Listerine or something, a commercial, and I said, her breath is clean 52 times, and that's all I did. And then I decided to get out while I was still alive. I wasn't very good at it.
They're very demanding.
Yeah, and they're very hard to do. You got to have a real energy. Hi, buy this.
Yeah, her breath is clean.
It's great. Try it at home, and you'll see.
I've often wondered how those gals who do those detergent commercials can become... Yeah, I like that. We're talking with John Ritter. Let me ask you something, and I don't mean to embarrass you by saying this, but when I watch you on the show, you are so skilled at doing physical comedy, reactions, and so forth. I don't think people learn that. I think you feel it intuitively. But obviously there were people that you watched, that you liked when you were young, that you got that feeling from, that the mad antics, because you play reactive type of comedy.
Well, it's also got me out of a lot of fights in elementary school, you know, keeping moving and trying to make the big guys laugh so they don't pound you.
Yeah.
But people like Dick Van Dyke, I've stolen, I've watched. And,
look, we've all stolen from everybody.
Jonathan Winters, you know, and Bill Cosby, and I must say you. And, the people that make me really laugh from here are the guys that I really like to follow, as opposed to, that's very clever.
I do the same thing, too. I watched the Marx Brothers and Jack Benny and that, and you pick up little...
Buster Keaton, too, if you want to talk
from
about
all of them. When did you first find out you were funny, that you could make people laugh?
Well,
as a kid?
I was nominated, this is the power political thing again, in junior high school for service club president by a friend of mine as a goof. You know, he said, Ritter, how about Ritter? You know, and I'm like this, and I'm looking around, and I was so nervous, but I remembered, and it was ironic that years later I worked with him, but I did a Don Knotts. Remember the nervous guy?
Oh, yes, of course.
And I came up and I went, well, I'll be a good president, and I just started, and then somebody said, are you nervous? I went, no. You know?
So you found out when they
liked me because I was funny, and they voted for me, and I ruined the office for everybody afterwards.
But then you're hooked.
Yeah.
You did also television commercials at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but this is a good source of income.
Yeah, well, my wife has done over 150 of them, and I tried in every commercial I did 4 of them. I actually did one with my dad in Nashville, which was fine, a cowboy one, and...
If people don't remember, and I'm sure most people do, your father, of course, was a famous cowboy star, Tex Ritter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite a gentleman.
Thank you. And I thank you. I got this one commercial for Michigan Bell Telephone. People with telephones.
See how popular you must have been?
Yeah.
I still remember the commercial.
You remember it? Well, anyway, you might not recognize me because I was supposed to be a guy at 22, and there were many actors playing this one man, and everybody but me had brown eyes. So I had a day to get used to brown contact lenses.
Oh, I see. It was the guy getting older?
Right, and I never had worn contact lenses before, and the guy who put them in had consumed massive amounts of illegal substances. And he I'm like, yeah. And the director would go, John, you want to tone it down, you're muggy. And I said, I'm in pain.
That's not the man you want to insert contact lenses.
It was tough. And then for a beer commercial for Canada, we all got drunk. You know, at the end, we're not supposed to drink, but while they weren't looking, you had a little nip here. And then at the end of the thing, we're like, take what? What was it?
I've never been able to say that. That's one of those standards and practices things they have on television. You may watch. You can have a dramatic show where people get blotto. They can sit and they go to a bar, they can drink beer there, or they can have a highball or whatever in a dramatic show. Never during a commercial.
Never.
You ever notice these guys in the outdoors? Hiya, Bill. Let's uncork that one. You just get to here, and they cut to a moose or something. And you come back, and the beer is empty, and you wonder, gee, you wonder what they did with that beer. Like, isn't that strange? Sense of morality they have. You can't show them drinking.
It's very odd. But anyway, we did that, and then I did one other Listerine or something, a commercial, and I said, her breath is clean 52 times, and that's all I did. And then I decided to get out while I was still alive. I wasn't very good at it.
They're very demanding.
Yeah, and they're very hard to do. You got to have a real energy. Hi, buy this.
Yeah, her breath is clean.
It's great. Try it at home, and you'll see.
I've often wondered how those gals who do those detergent commercials can become excited to the point of
ecstasy.
I was going to say something else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm glad you got it close to what I was going to say. Over a clean pair of shorts. I just don't understand how in a laundry room they can go up bonkers. Smell this. Wow. Something's wrong with those people. Something definitely is wrong with that thing. That's their whole life. Smelling laundry is my life. I don't understand. Speaking of your dad, he had a star, did he not?
Yes.
On the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and you recently had
that
one?
that was something that...
Yeah, that's nice.
That was something that was actually quite touching. I thought it would be, you know, sort of a nice thing for my mom, you know, to have... which it was, but it really got me, you know. I went, gee, you know, I remember how thrilled my father was when he got it, and he would sort of joke and say, you want to go on down there with some spick and span and clean that gum off the you know, I don't want any footprints on the X of Tex, okay? Just make sure all that. And now I'm sort of behind him, and I'm real proud.
They put the star right down?
You have a star on Hollywood.
Yeah, somewhere. I've never visited it.
Mine's in front of Wood Pit Barbecue. Very proud of
Wood Pit Barbecue.
The Wood Pit Barbecue.
Mine is on Vine Street somewhere. I guess somewhere.
Let's all go look for it now. Come on.
You have nothing big to do planned tonight. We could all meet there later. Have a cookout on our star.
That'd be great.
Somebody told me about your dad when you would see his movies when you were very young. You actually thought it was like you couldn't separate the reality from the illusion, like that was part of his life or something.
Absolutely. Well, my father was a cowboy, and he wore...
The white hat.
The white hat, and he had cowboy suits when he sang, and he did rodeos, he had horses. So when my brother would say, Dad's on TV, and we'd go run down and we'd see these B-Westerns, I knew he looked younger and thinner, but I knew that he beat up those guys, because I had proof, and I knew he offed a lot of villains.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't kiss that many girls. Right. He hated the mushy stuff.
Not in those days.
Which was nice for our mother, you know.
Yeah.
And even though she was in some of his films. So I just thought, well, that was growing up on Texas. And I said, my father is a murderer. But for a good reason. It was a dirty job, but somebody...
Dad had to do it.
I didn't mind, heck.
That is strange. You don't think of that. But, of course, when you're young, you can't not separate fantasy from reality. You say, well, that's my dad. And he's just your dad. He's not a star or...
That's right. When Jason watches Three's Company, my boy who's 4 now, he sort of knows that I'm just pretending, and he knows Janet is Joyce, and Don Knotts is Mr. Furley. He says, that's Don, that's Mr. You know, so he can differentiate that.
At what age did he realize that it was not really where he was confused? I remember when I was on television, my kids were very young, and they would see the screen, but they couldn't understand how you could be they didn't know what... Two places at the same time. They didn't know from film or television.
That's right. Well,
how could you be here and be there?
He understands the thing of pretend, okay? Right. Like, you be Luke Skywalker, and I'll be Chewbacca, because Chewbacca was taller and hairier, and I am than my son. And,
yes, well, you should be.
Right. And so he understands Pretending and playing. And I say, well, we're just playing. And he also, for those who are interested, he's in the opening titles with Joyce DeWitt at the zoo, that little boy in overalls that Joyce always feeds the breadcrumb to. Or actually, she's feeding the animals. And that's Jason. So he comes and watches the Three's Company and goes, "That's your brother, Carly," and then he leaves for the rest of the show. He doesn't care about that. He just comes for his opener, and then he splits.
Kid's all heart.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Stay where Jimmy Alec is here. Not Johnny Alec. Johnny's brother. Jimmy is here. And Robin Douglas.